Hi, Deb Purban here, and this week we're going to talk about communication in our Tuesday Tweaks. Now, communication means both speaking and listening, two essential tools. So first, we're going to start with speaking. Here are a couple of tips that I want you to think about. Hey, I need to do that more. So speaking. Lots of times when you're speaking, people don't get everything you're talking about. So you need to repeat yourself. In the beginning of a presentation, here's what I'm going to tell you about. At the end, here's what I told you about. When you're conducting a meeting, here's the agenda. But the important things need to be repeated, especially things like collaboration or what your culture is, because people need to hear that over and over again. Now, best way to have memorable dialogues and communications is to tell stories. Stories make your point. So if you have a story that you can tell to make your point, use it. And then ask what was heard. So a lot of times when I'm working with my team, I'll say, here's what I think we ought to do differently. Okay. And then I go on and talk about the things that I make suggestions on. And then I ask, so what do you think you're going to do? And that way I know that they've heard most of what I have said. And if they haven't, then I get the opportunity to give them more suggestions. And it's a suggestion, it's a recommendation. People don't like being told, do this. Okay? So work with them because that will improve their listening skills and improve your communication skills. And you're much more likely to get things done if you make suggestions than just telling them, do this. Now, the other side of this coin is listening. 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk. And one of the best ways to communicate and to answer questions is to ask for clarity. What is it that you're really looking for? Can you repeat the question back to the person who's asking for help? Hey, I really need this. I'm worried about my margins. Well, what is it? I hear what you're saying. You're worried about margins, but what part of margins are you worried about? Is it the gross margin, operating margin? Get clarity, ask questions. And then that will allow you to dive deeper into the issue that you're talking about. So, as I said, which margin, what part, what line item is driving that? Do you have a concern about engagement of your employees? Is that they're not living up to their capacity? Or are your clients not paying you on time and that's stretching your receivables? You have to borrow money and therefore your margins are getting thinner. So a deeper dive into really what the issue is very helpful. And then always end with awe. AWE. And what else? What else can I do for you? Because very often we'll ask a simpler question to begin with, and once we feel comfortable with the dialogue, then we can get into something that might be a little meatier, and you don't want to miss that opportunity. So that's it for this week. See if there's one of those things you can practice during the week and help your team communicate better. I'll see you next week.